LMU Update 1.0 is here. With it come not only 2 new cars, a bunch of small little changes and features, but also an update to the GT3 tire model once again. Is it now better? Did they revert to the old way of sliding around? In this first video on the full release of Le Mans Ultimate, let's take a look at both the new Mercedes AMG GT3 as well as the changed tire model to figure out where LMU stands now with GT3 driving. The tire model was only recently changed, quite massively, in the June update. The reception was very mixed because it became a lot more difficult to drive and at times very punishing. To really be able to compare what changed, I drove some laps yesterday before the patch. What was the problem with the changed tire model? Well, it was stuff like this, where if you pushed a little bit too quickly into a corner, it was very easy to lose the car, because the rear tires were just giving up quite quickly and it was very difficult to even react in time. Here you can see another example where yes, I definitely made a driver error, noticed that the car was sliding out, but I wasn't able to catch it sadly. Could you catch the car before the patch? Well, yes you could, but you really had to react quite fast and sometimes it just wasn't possible at all. Here you can see another example where before the patch I was able to catch it, but look at the result, this would have been quite some time lost in a race. And then there was stuff like Rouge Radeon, where if you just pushed a little bit too hard, the car could also easily go here. So what changed now with Update 1.0? Well, I can already tell you, this time the changes aren't really all that massive. In essence, the developers are trying to make the grip fall off not as steep as it was after the last tire update. According to the release notes, they are doing this with tweaks to the heating and cooling of tires, minor grip changes with temperature, and lower thermal degradation. So I wanted to know, can you now overpush the car a lot more, or will you still easily spin if you overdo it? The answer is the latter. If you overdo it, you can definitely spin your car quite quickly at that. But I found that you need to overpush the car quite a bit more than you needed to before the patch. You can see some examples here, but these are really some extreme cases where I overdid it quite a bit more than I needed to before the update. Because overall I can say my first impressions of the update to the tire model are actually quite positive. Yes, as you saw, you can still throw away the car if you overdo it, but you have to be a lot more aggressive to do that. Driving the same combination, the Porsche here at Spa, before and after the update wasn't a night and day difference, but it was noticeable. I felt a lot more comfortable to actually push, more than I was before the update, where sometimes I really was scared to throw the car into corners because I knew how easy it was to throw it away if you just overdid it a little bit, and there was also very little warning. And that I feel is another area that is improved now with the update. Yes, the rear tires don't have as much grip as they did before the first update to the tire model, so before June, but you can feel that there is a little bit more grip to play with now after update 1.0 than there was before. And that leads to more situations where you notice you're losing rear grip a little bit, but you can notice it quite early, like here for example, but you're just able to correct quickly with a counter steer and are totally fine to continue. Of course, it's still super early and we definitely need way more time with the update to be sure, but first impressions, at least to me, are really positive. So if you were turned off by the June tire model update, give the GT3s in LMU another go. I think you'll find that they are more drivable now on the limit than they were before the update. As I said, I felt a lot more comfortable actually pushing the car now, which is really great to see. By the way, I also did drive the Aston Martin, so a front engine car, before and after the update to have a similar kind of comparison, and once again the experience was kind of similar to the Porsche. Once again, I felt a lot more able to actually push the car, and when the rear was losing grip, I could feel it and correct it most of the time before anything bad happened. Is the tire model perfect now? Well, as I said, I think it's still too early to tell, but I do think that they made a step in the right direction once again. I personally was in the boat that I didn't mind the update to the tire model that they did in June. I just had these problems where I, did just lose the car because I did overpush it a little bit too much and there really wasn't any way to notice it in time or catch the car. And that now, at least to me, feels definitely improved. So now I want to hear from you. If you've already tried the once again updated tire model, let me know what your experiences are. Do you feel the same, or do you still feel that there's work to do for the developers? And if you're still to try driving the GT3s after the 1.0 update, let me know what you expect from the changes that they made. I will for sure keep on testing like you've come to expect from me, and let you know my thoughts once again once I've had a little bit more time with the update. If you want to see that, feel free to subscribe to the channel, that would really help me out, and leave a like on the video if you appreciate me jumping in on release day and giving you my first impressions right away. Let's now quickly interject with some of the other small changes and features. Here you can see the changed season select screen with the added 2025 season, and of course the new cars. Here is the Aston Martin Valkyrie, which we will probably take a look in a later video. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments. And of course we also have the new GT3, which I already teased, and we're gonna take a look after this, the Mercedes AMG LMGT3. Super cool car, and I already can tell you I really do like this one. What we also got are new liveries for the 2025 season. I'm just gonna show you the GT3 ones here. Hypercars we can take a look at in another video, but already the GT3 ones are quite amazing. And here is another new car, new-ish. It's the updated BMW M4 LMGT3 Evo. It doesn't say here in the menu, but it is the new version. You can tell by the headlights and the mirrors, for example. But yeah, there are also some quite cool liveries for all of the other cars that you can see here. In addition to the new liveries, there are also some other changes, for example to the balance of performance, or BOP, which we will have to see in multiplayer how those turn out if the cars are now a lot closer on the different tracks, which would be really awesome. There's also been changes to the replay UI, for example, but I think the biggest UI change is the new setup screen. That you can see here with all the important stuff that you will need to change quite regularly on one screen, which is amazing. And you can already see which car we're taking now, and I did make just some TC adjustments with my tried and trusted method, just to have a good baseline setup that we can try. But before I talk about the car, let's listen. So yeah, the Mercedes AMG LMGT3 is finally in Limo Ultimate as well. And I think a lot of people were waiting for this one. It's an iconic car, and I can already tell you it's a really fun one. I really did enjoy trying this new car out. And if you didn't know, it's free to everyone who owns the base game, so that's also a very nice bonus of this Update 1.0 release. I on purpose decided not to go with this car for my first run in Update 1.0 because I really wanted to see with my testing yesterday on the old patch with the cars that I knew how the changed tire model felt, because I felt like that was really important, so I did have a little bit of a baseline and an expectation when trying out this new GT3 car. But after doing that and then jumping into this Mercedes, it was really cool to drive. I was very comfortable with the car quite quickly, and not only was I comfortable, I also felt quick. The first couple of laps were just a little bit acclimatizing, I think. But after that, I really felt that I could not only go quite fast, at least for my pace. Disclaimer, don't look at my lap times too much here. I know that I'm not the fastest driver, but I can at least compare the time that I'm doing in this to the times that I do in other cars. And quite quickly in the Mercedes, I was up to speed, to times that I would do in other cars, or even faster in a lot of instances. And I also felt quite consistent, even after trying the car only briefly. And that really gives me a lot of confidence on this one, and I think I want to try it more. It definitely has the typical front engine characteristics, so you can feel the weight on the front axle. But that doesn't mean that this car isn't nimble. You can, if you do it well, really go quite fast through corners as well. There is a reason why I tried the Aston before, because I felt like that is quite a nimble car already for the front engine ones in LMU. And well, I can say the Mercedes really feels like it isn't any worse in that regard. It feels very good on brakes, even when braking for more difficult corners like Aqua Minerale here, and it also feels very stable on throttle. You could see my TC settings in the beginning, and of course they are probably still quite safe with TC slip at 11, which is something that I want to experiment with now that the tire model has changed again. If we could maybe lower that or make some other changes to the traction control, I will let you know when I've figured something out there. And by the way, the same goes for you. If you figure something out, definitely let me know. But yeah, even though, yes, I just did try the car briefly here and only in single player and hot lapping, it felt good to me, and I'm really looking forward to trying this out in multiplayer this week. You will very likely see a video on that in the future. So yeah, first impressions of the new update for me are quite good. No major complaints here. But as I said, it is just first impressions, and we will need some more time with the update to really know how good it actually is. I will keep you posted here on this channel, so subscribe if you haven't already. And speaking of that, we actually just hit 10,000 subscribers, which is massive, and I really want to give another huge thank you to all of you watching. I also made quite a special video for that occasion, so if you haven't seen that yet, I will link it on screen here for you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel in any way that you can. I will keep you posted with what's going on with Le Mans Ultimate in the coming weeks, so you can look forward to some more exciting videos. But with that, I just want to thank you a lot for watching. I've been HD Racing, and I will hopefully see you in the next one.